Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Ōkami walkthrough. We are here in North Ryoshima coast, and everything looks really nice. Like, I would have thought it would have all been cursed and all, but no, it's all perfectly healed. Which is surprising, considering how big it is, and how long it's taken us to get here. That is very impressive, Waka. I don't quite know how you managed to pull off a divine intervention, but we'll roll with it. Just means that we have less work to do, so I can be quite content with that. Now, I don't know what you're trying to insinuate, Waka, but our wonderful friend Issun here is a very good fella. So you should not be an arsehole, okay? Although that said, there is something slightly questionable about what's going on. So, oh dearie soon. Make like a tree and leave. The pun, but also the really terrible metaphor, because it doesn't work. Because trees are stationary, so they don't move. Anyway, as we run forward, we get introduced to another of the wheel family. This is the wind nose. Although I believe we may have already come across it. Either way, Veil of Mist, it's dead. In fact, it's deader than dead, it's obliterated. Which is an absolute godsend, really. Now, North Ryoshima Coast is easily, I think, the largest area to explore in the game. This is because not only is it, like, ginormous in terms of where you can... well, not necessarily ginormous in where you can explore on land, but there is pretty much the entire ocean for you to explore as well, which is insane. Now, if you got Mist Warp, then you can use it to get up to this location up here. Using Mist Warp is the only way that you can access this, so why the hell would you not come up here if you could? I mean, that's like 20 praise and a stray bead. Beautiful. And you can just jump all the way off from the top. So you don't even need to worry about Mist Warping all the way back down, which is great. And seeing as we have accrued a ridiculous amount of praise, I think it's time to do some upgrading. So yes, I'm kind of just like, what do I want? Health is probably going to be reasonably helpful. I mean, it's not hugely helpful. Ink pots are probably the thing that you're going to want the most of, but I like to keep a nice balance if I can. Now initially this area doesn't look as big on the map as it actually is, but that's because this is only one part of the map. It extends quite dramatically after we do a bit of exploring. Or at least, once we get to the event that happens at the end of this part. Yeah, there are so many clovers and animals and everything throughout this place. So we're gonna be exploring for a little while before the plot truly begins to kick back in. However, once we have done our exploration, the majority of which is going to take place in the next part, the plot is going to go into high gear for a while. I mean, after all, we can see a little something in the distance there. That, my friends, although the game isn't exactly going to tell us, is Oni Island. We're not actually going to be able to do anything about it for a good while. But know that we are getting there, pretty much. Now, if you wanted to know what North Ryoshima Coast's Japanese name is, it's just Ryoshima Barakita. So, Northern Twin Islands Plain, which all makes sense. Now, the cat-designed restaurant that stands in front of you is related to getting another upgraded brush technique. We're not going to be able to actually get that until we begin properly exploring this place, but once we do get there, we will manage to actually get that technique. Also, you can see the water dragon patrolling the coast. It's kind of terrifying. But yeah, just waiting on the next fun thing I can discuss, because we're going to be bumping into a character who I've pretty much ignored so far, which I feel bad about. But I've been talking about other things when he's been about. So, yeah, it could be worse. And I am still so bad at pulling off a cherry bomb. Blending cherry blossoms into cherry bombs. I mean, it's kind of where they're going with it, but... oh, good grief, the brain. It goes bonkers sometimes. I mean, the thing is that actually drawing the cherry blossom isn't necessarily difficult, because it's just a circle with a thing sticking out of it. In many ways, it's like the hammer and the bomb in The Wonderful 101. Except those you don't need to connect. They just need to kind of... the hammer needs to be a straight line and then a circle. And the bomb needs to be a circle with then a straight line. Whereas this is arguably more simple, because it's just complete a circle and put a stick in it, but... as you probably noticed, every now and again it's just a little bit finicky to actually properly pull off. I don't know whether that is just the Wii version, or whether that is the case when you're doing the game normally, but... Also, that is an insane amount of pigs. And yeah, we're going to ignore that whole thing just for the time being. We will be going and sorting it out soon, don't worry, but first off we need to feed some cows and run into an old friend. And that old friend, as you can see there, who's firing stuff, is Yoichi. Now, in terms of art book stuff, we have the description. I had planned for this character, Soldier 1, to be paired with the overweight guard from the city checkpoint as a Blues Brothers-like set. Never would have imagined that he would become his own man. Kimiya asked that we make the colour combination Char as Enable exclusive. Not exactly sure what that means, but oh well. Now, Yoichi is based on the historical samurai Nasu no Yoichi, who, once I can get the article up, because yay for slow internet, or at least slow browser. That's always fun. He was a samurai who fought alongside the Minamoto clan in the Genpei War, lived between 1169 to 1232. According to the Heiki Monogatari, the enemy Taira placed a fan atop the mast of one of their ships, claiming it protected the ship from arrows, and daring the Minamoto warriors to shoot it off. Sitting atop his mount in the waves, his target atop the ship rocking as well, Nasu nevertheless shot it down with only one shot. So, obviously he's a very famous archer character in Japanese history. Apparently, after the Genpei War, he was made daimyo of Tori Castle, but he lost his position to Kajiwara Kagetoki after being defeated in a hunting competition. He left Echigo province, and following the death of Minamoto Yoritomo, need to get this all correct, Nasu became a Buddhist monk in the Jodo Shinshu sect. Eventually formed a temple, which has since been passed down to the oldest son of the Nasu family. For administrative purposes, detailed records were kept regarding who was to inherit the temple. As a result of this, it was possible to trace the Nasu lineage right up to the destruction of the temple during World War II. Most believe that he died at the age of 64 in the year 1232 during a ceremony in Kobe honouring those who died in the Genpei War. And now I'm going to do a little bit of researching just to find something. Now you can heal that guardian sapling, although that's not quite a guardian sapling, that's just a tree, but it whacks the same as a guardian sapling. It's just that that was already dealt with, annoyingly enough. And you can hear the cat crying in the background. We will be going to that soon, don't you worry, but we need to do a little bit more stuff before we go to the Catcall Tower. But I have to say, I think we've got a brush technique coming up reasonably soon, so I'm quite looking forward to that. Now, if we drop down here, we get one of these things. So, in certain locations, there are these hidden sanctuaries, I suppose, which have lots of trees, a ridiculous amount of animals. Doesn't matter where, but there's always just an insane amount. You generally get 3 clovers, and then sometimes a chest, sometimes you'll get a well of some description, and in one instance you'll get a nasty surprise. Now, just to make myself sound less stupid, the char as an able thing that was mentioned when discussing Yoichi is a character. Well, it's an anime character from the Gundam franchise. Shows you just how much I know about Gundam, eh? But yeah, so Yoichi obviously grew quite a lot in terms of the way they thought about the character, which is quite impressive. Now, I believe I am looking for a treasure chest in this river, and once we have done that, we are going to just push things along a little bit. Because we are going to go deal with that kind of crowd of people that were sitting near that house. It was very odd, but I think it is going to be about time to deal with it, because we've done nearly everything we can do on land as it stands right now. Yeah, they really do like hiding treasure chests in the rivers. And it's frustrating, because it's like, at the minute, we haven't got the thing that will let us run on water. So it's just like, ah! This is just frustrating, because I have to swim, try and create lily pads so that I don't drown, and still be in the right position to pick these things up. So it's just like, ah. Still, I believe, bar attempting to collect everything on the coast, which I believe we're going to mostly do in the next part, probably. Oh no. What we're doing right now is picking up stuff that are in the clams, which are just on the edge. There are some which are a little bit more difficult to get near, because they are further out to sea. But these ones are pretty okay, because they are right on the beach. It's kind of insane when you think about how much there is to do in these locations. Like, you may just look at it and think, oh, I'll just run straight for the one place that I need to go. But no, there is so much to do. I mean, there's kind of very little to talk about, but I mean, just look at how many items there are around this place. I mean, it kind of works to the whole thing that Ōkami is, in general, on the easy side of gaming. It gives you a lot of items, it gives you a lot of health items. None of the enemies are too horrendous to defeat. In fact, there's only, I would say, 2 or 3 really challenging moments in the game. And that's it. And those are pretty much optional. Well, they are entirely optional, I don't know what I'm saying pretty much for. And we're not going to be doing them until near the end of the game. So one of them, well, a collection of them are the very last things we will be doing before the end of the game. But anyway, here we have a bunch of bullies trying to beat up a fella called Ryoshima. And this is disgusting. Nobody should be bullying. This is just, no. You simply do not bully people. Because it is horrible. You especially should not be hitting people with wet fish or sticks, because that is also incredibly rude. I feel so sorry for this guy. Now, Ryoshima here, I'm not quite sure what the name means, other than the fact that the Shima would translate to island. Because, obviously, Ryoshima, so on and so forth. But what he is talking about here is a very kind of important thing, because he's talking about the Dragon Palace and the Water Dragon, and stuff that we need to try and deal with. Now, if you want to know where Ryoshima comes from, he is based on the legend of Ryoshima Taro and the Tamete Bako. The latter of which is represented by the treasure box that's on top of his house. And something that will turn up a little bit later on. Basically, the way his legend goes is that he's a fisherman who rescues a turtle and is rewarded for this with a visit to the Dragon Palace under the sea, stays there for 3 days, and upon his return to his village finds himself 300 years in the future. So that's where we're going with this whole thing. And here we have Orca, which Ryoshima was just talking about, and Orca is adorable and has an amazing theme. Like, oh my god! It's a bit rude, Orca, but okay, we will roll with it. This is the Dragon Palace emissary, Orca. And Orca is going to let us do a little bit of riding, which is going to open up the entirety of North Ryoshima Coast. And you will see truly just how big this damn place is. Like, oh my god.